So, so what we are discussing today? So, so last time, so what we discussed? AWS paint, right? Yes. So what we discussed? So services. What are the services, guys? AWS services, guys. Sai, Josna. AWS
EC2,
service. EC2
IAM,
ఏమంటారు?
Elastic Compute Cloud,
Compute service, right?
uh,
Next, IAM, right?
IAM,
Next,
S3.
yes, S3. S3 means
Storage
simple
Pipeline.
storage
Service,
service, RDS, ECS, sorry, ECS. What is ECS, guys? What is RDS?
Relational database.
Yes, relational database service. Okay, what is ECS, guys?
Elastic Containers.
Yes, Elastic Container Service. Right, Elastic Container Service. You already know
E-
Elastic Container Service.
EBS.
Yes, E.
EBS. Elastic Beanstalk.
Yes, EBS.
EKS Lambda.
EKS. What is EKS, guys?
Elastic Kubernetes Service.
Yes, Kubernetes Service. So in AWS, everything as a service. Everything as a service. Something like VPC. What is VPC, guys? Route
Virtual
53.
Private Cloud.
Yes, virtual private cloud. Route 52. It is a something like a networking concept. So virtual private network, something like in our organization, you are launching something like RDS, all the services. Okay, something like few services you are using in this. So this is your company, something like Hari company, for example. So this company, so you created a number of EC2 instances, all the services. You need a private security. A private security. So when you are launching EC2 instance, it will create the VPC, right, guys? So VPC. So VPC is nothing but a virtual private cloud. This is our company virtual private cloud. This cloud having a security, networking, everything will be under VPC. Everything under VPC. So routing, NAT gateways, everything through the VPC, virtual private cloud, guys. This is your virtual private cloud. So how you can connect with our servers? How you can connect with your company servers. How we can connect, guys? So there will be a router. There will be a router. There will be a ISP from this to this. They are providing the ingress rules. Egress rules means inbound, outbound rules. There will be a VPC concept. So S3, what is S3? Simple storage service. For example, are they providing any S3 type solutions apart from AWS?
Sorry, what is that?
So same like as a storage service. Is there any companies providing the storage services apart from AWS?
Like Google Drive, right?
Yes, very
Or
good.
Microsoft OneDrive.
Google? Yes, Google Drive, OneDrive. Very good, Akim. So Google Drive and OneDrive. So OneDrive is from Microsoft. Google Drive is from Google. So they are also providing the same storage solutions. So if you want to keep your data, yeah, they're providing a online storage solution. Those are the Google Drive and OneDrive. The same like as a S3 also. The same like as a S3 also the simple storage service. Simple storage service. For example, in our application. So what is your application? So for example, your application is Facebook. Let's take an example. Facebook. So you deployed a Facebook application. Deployed a Facebook application. This is your one is your app server. So one is your app server. So the other one is a DB server. So where your application your application will be deployed on the app server, right? So something like a Tomcat server. For example, this is the code. So this is the code. Something like this is our code. WhatsApp or something like this is our code. Facebook code. So you are uploading images. You are uploading uploading videos or something like uh, so commenting comments, right? Commenting comments on a Facebook page. So this app application is for only for the your front end application, only for your front end application. For example, a LinkedIn. So where it will be stored under the where it will be stored. It will be stored on the our database. Database will store the images, videos, and contents. So there's only app is will only for the front end, just an API, just an API application interface only. So your data will be stored under the databases, right? The databases. So for example, this is only a 8 GB of 8 GB of storage, 8 GB of hard disk. So, for example, 1,000 or something like a 10,000 sign up, 10,000 people sign up the AWS account, something like a Facebook account. So, whenever the people is logged in, log out. In between login and logout, there will be a application logs. There will be a generating application logs. Application logs means so the people when he logged into the server, when he logged into the application, and he logged out of the application. In between login and logout, so they did something. They did something. So that must be creating the application logs. Must be creating the application log. So for example, so 1,000 people are accessing every day and something like a 10 GB or something like a 5 GB, 5 GB logs are created. 5 GB logs will be created. So something like your OS, your application server is only 8 GB. But every day the application logs, writing the application logs 5 GB. Something like so 8 GB means 8 GB means there is no space to keep our application logs. There is no space to keep our application logs. So before in the data center on premises, so there will be another server. There will be another server created and mounted the mount point. What are the servers? Something like a NFS, network file sharing, or something like a Samba. So NFS is nothing but a network file sharing. So this server is something like a created with 1000 GB. 1000 GB, something like here we created a mount point like a app logs. App logs with 1000 GB. App logs with 1000 GB. Here, so a directory mount kind created app logs. That app logs having a 1000 GB. So this app logs will be mounted to the application server. For example, we have a 2 application or 3 application servers. So we can mount it under the something like a app logs here. So we mount it through a network through the network. This is nothing but a network mount. Network file sharing from this server to this server. So now where our application logs will be writing, under the under the app logs. For example, every day it is writing 5 GB. Every day it is writing 5 GB. So how much time, how many days it will sustain 1000 GB? 10 days 50,000, 100 days 5,000, 100 days 500 GB, 500 GB. So 1000 so 200 days equal to 1000 GB. So it will sustain at 200 days. It will sustain 200 days. After that, we need to extend another 1000 GB, another 1000 GB, another 1000 GB, and we can mount it under the. We can say already mounted, right? So now 2000 GB. So it will sustain of 400 days, something like a 2 GB, 2 TB you assigned as a 2 TB for the app logs. It will sustain 400 days. 400 days. For example, we are thinking every day writing the 5 GB. So for 400 days, so we took the 2 TB space, 2 TB hard disk. We bought the 2 TB hard disk and keep it under the server. But every day it will be writing only 5 GB. But for the future reference, you created a 2 TB, 2 TB, 2 TB of the 2 TB of the hard disk, 2 TB hard disk, or something like here the something like the cost for the storage. So you are thinking, and you created 2 TB for 400 days. 400 days. So when it will be something like a 2 TB will be completed in 400 days. But from starting day onwards, you will pay the money for 2 TB. You will pay the money for 2 TB. But first day, so it will occupy only 5 GB. The second day, it will occupy only 10 GB. But you will pay the money for 2 TB. You will pay the money for 2 TB from starting day onward. But it will use only 5 GB, 5 GB per day only. So the concept of the storage comes from here only. So why we need to pay amount? Why we need to pay the amount without using the storage? So whenever you use the storage, something like a 5 GB, you will pay only for the 5 GB only. So if tomorrow it will write something like a 10 GB, you will pay for only 10 GB. And it automatically extends. That service is a simple storage service, S3 service. S3 service is a storage service in the AWS. Guys, understood? So why we need to pay amount for 2 TB if you are not using the 2 TB per day? So the alternative solution is in the cloud, S3. Alternative solution is S3. S3 is a simple storage service. A simple simple storage a service. So whenever you use the storage, that part only you can pay the money. Something like today you use only 5 GB, you can pay only for 5 GB. Something like tomorrow you can pay, you can use 10 GB. Only you can pay the money for the 10 GB. And so something like so after 1000 GB, so we don't have a space to add the logs. Definitely we need to add another 1000 GB. But here, so something like it will automatically extend. It will automatically extend, and you can store the data whatever you want. Something like MBs. If you want MBs, you can use MBs. If you want use GBs, if you want use GBs, you can use GBs, or TBs, you can use TBs, megabytes, whatever. It will automatically extend the storage. So because of the same concept, NFS concept is there, but they already created the environment, and just they link up to the API. AWS API background, the same NFS concept will be applicable. The same NFS concept will be applicable. But what they are providing a pay as you go. If you are using 5 GB, you can pay only for 5 GB. If you are using for 10 GB, you can use only 10. You can pay the money for 10 GB only, and it will automatically scale something like it, extending the space. It automatically extending the space. Guys, understood?
Yeah.
S3. So S3, so everything will be, if you are copying, if you are uploading everything, so everything, something like a videos or images is like a object, like a object. So S3, the name call as a bucket. What is that? S3, a bucket. What is that, guys? A bucket. Name call it as a bucket. Yes, I don't know. So this is a S3 bucket. So this is a S3 bucket. Everything will be objects. So everything, if you're uploading anything or everything is nothing but a objects. Everything will be objects. So what are the concept? What are the concept in the S3? What are the concept in the S3? Something like a oceaning concept. Other one is application, life cycle management, static website, hosting, oceaning replication, life cycle management, static website hosting, life cycle, static replication, hosting, object storage types. So versioning, something like in your laptop, you are creating a document called something like a hurry.txt. Hurry.txt. If you're trying to copy or download from somewhere the same hurry.txt. In our in our laptop already having the hurry.txt, and so you are trying to create a another hurry.txt. It will be acceptable or not, guys? It will accept, guys. It will accept or not? It will not accept. So hurry.txt already there. So shall I replace it, or shall I remove this? Okay. But in the oceaning concept, for example, hurry.txt having the some of the content. So the another hurry.txt having the some of the content. So if you are using the versioning concept, if you are using the versioning concept. So when you upload the document, when you upload anything, it's an object. Every object having created a unique identification number. Unique identification number. If you are enabling the versioning, if you are enabling the version, so something like it will upload both the hari.txt. This hari.txt having a some content, the hari.txt having a some content. But if you are not enabling the versioning, it will not accept. But if you are enabling the versioning, it will accept. So because of versioning, it will create a object ID. It will create the object ID and to differentiate with the object ID, the versioning ID. So this is nothing but a versioning concept. Then a replication. So replication is nothing but, for example, so this is the NFS server, this is the hardware. So hardware, right? Hardware may be crashes. So if it is a one server, something goes wrong. So the application logs will be corrupted. The application logs will be corrupted. We need a disaster recovery. We need another mirroring concept. Or then we need the logs in the some other places. That is nothing but a replication. So replication is nothing but so you have already, so you are copying your data to the, so US East 1 region. So US East 1 region, US East 1A region or one US East region. I want the same logs will be on another region also. So another region also, something like it is in Frankfurt or whatever it may be. So whenever you are uploading the logs, it will automatically copy it to the other region. It will automatically copy to the other region. That is nothing but a replication. If you are enabling the replication, it automatically copy the data whenever you copy the data into this one of the location region, it automatically copy to the another region. For example, if anything goes wrong on the this region, yeah, we have a logs in the other region also. Other region also. And life cycle management. What is the life cycle management? So life cycle management is nothing but for example, if you are taking a banking application. So banking application. So bank statements. So frequently uses last month or something like a last 15 days. So last 15 days, something like a last 1 year, last 2 years, last 3 years logs. The statements will be downloaded or access. So access something like a within a year or one or two times. So 1 or 2 times. So that time we don't want use the storage classes. There will be a storage classes something like so standard. So these are the elastic block volumes, EBS, elastic block storage. Okay, elastic block storages. So these block storages will be types. Hard disk will be types. The IO already knows guys, right? IO is input output operations. So Glacier is the cheapest one. Glacier is the cheapest. Glacier is the cheapest. Something like standard IA, standard, something like a standard standard. So standard 1A, standard IA, something like a glacier. So these all are the compared to the cheapest one. So if you are retrieving the logs from the glacier, it will take time. If you are retrieving the logs from the standard IA, 1IA, something like it will be a so somewhat better rather than a glacier. So somewhat better rather than standard. So you want a statement backup statement before 1 year or 3 years. So we are moving something like so first 3 months it will be a standard. Then after 3 months it will move to the standard 1 year. So then after something like a 6 months or 1 year after 1 year we are moving from your logs from glacier so standard to glacier. Then after 3 years so you will set as a delete the delete the delete the logs or statements, the statements age after 3 years. The age will be something like 365, 365, 365, something like 1,000. So after the 1,000 days, whatever the logs will be there, for the 1,000, the logs will be deleted automatically. You will set the life cycle management. Life cycle management. Next, static web hosting, static website. Static website will be hosting under the S3. Guys, know what is a static website, a dynamic website?
Static means which is changeable. Sorry, it is constant.
Yes, dynamic website. So Facebook is a static website or dynamic website. So static website means, so we cannot change everything, or we cannot copy, we cannot upload, upload any data. Just a pages like as a Wikipedia. Just a page as Wikipedia is a static website hosting. So Wikipedia is a static website, or something like a college website. So they are creating the website for the college information only. So college information only. For example, those are the static website, dynamic website. So application, something like so if you are using a database for this application, there will be a dynamic website. For example, sign up, upload videos, or download videos, something like images or comments. So it will if any application is is using the databases, that application is a dynamic website. So if they are not using the databases, they are using only front end apps, only a front end application. So just they created the application and they deployed and they hosted it on the internet. So we just see the information. Those are the static website. So dynamic website means, so if the application is involving the something like a sign up, sign in button, and the databases, whatever the databases are involving at that website, so that is called as a dynamic website. Is it right, Josna? Josna,
Yes.
right? Kim,
Yeah.
you understood, right?
Correct.
Sai?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the service. These are the objects. These are the objects. These are the objects. Objects means these are the services provided in the S3. Something like a versioning, replication, lifecycle management, static website hosting. Guys, tell me, what are the services they are providing in the S3? What are the services? Versioning. Guys, tell me, versioning, a replication, lifecycle management, and static websiting. What are the services, guys?
Versioning
Kim, versioning,
and
replication,
replication.
lifecycle
And
management, and static website hosting.
I think versioning.
Yeah. So everything, if you are uploading anything on the bucket, the name it S3, so it call it as a bucket. So everything treat as a object. Everything treat as a object. Yes, understood, right? Yeah. Understanding the storage in AWS, different types of storage in AWS. So what is Amazon S3? Functions and concept of S3, advantages and disadvantages of S3. So requirement for S3, understanding pricing of S3, creating and managing S3 buckets, creating and managing objects in S3, uploading objects to the S3, deleting buckets, deleting the objects. So storage is available in AWS, Amazon S3, Glacier, EBS, EC2 instance storage, AWS import and export, AWS storage gateway, AWS CloudFront, Amazon SQS, Amazon RDS, Amazon DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, Redshift, database on EC2. These all are the storage services. But we are using Amazon S3, Amazon Glacier. So scalable storage in the cloud. This is the scalable storage. It will be automatically extend. So Amazon Glacier, low cost archive storage in the cloud. Low cost archive storage in the cloud. Amazon EBS. persistent block storage volumes for Amazon EC2 virtual machines. So this will be Amazon EC2 virtual machines. Instant storage, temporary block storage volumes for the Amazon EC2 machines. AWS import export, large volume data transfer. Integrates on-premises site environment with cloud. This is the storage gateway for on-premises to cloud, CloudFront. So global content delivery network. This is so MQS, message queue services, RDS, relational database services, DynamoDB, fast, predictable, highly scalable. Imagine elastic caching, in-memory caching service, fast, powerful, local managed petabyte scale data warehouse services, Redshift. So self-managed database on the Amazon EC2 services. So what is S3? Amazon Simple Storage is a storage of the internet. We can use Amazon S3 to store and retrieve the any amount of data at any time from anywhere on the web. So we can accomplish these tasks using the AWS Management Console, which is a simple and intuitive web interface. Sign up for the AWS, sign up for Amazon S3, create a bucket, add an object to the bucket, view the object to the bucket, move an object, delete an object. S3 is designed for remote data storage, low cost, pay as you go, no upfront cost, high availability, high bandwidth. So uses of Amazon own network. So features 99% of durability, 99% of availability, designed to support concurrent data failures in two physical facilities. So March 2006, Amazon launched simple storage service. So functions and concepts of allows unlimited storage of objects containing of 1 byte to 5 gigabytes each. Object consists of the raw object data and metadata. Objects are stored and retrieved using the developer assigned key. Data are kept secured from the unauthorized access through the authentication mechanism. Objects can be made available to public by the HTTP or BitTorrent protocol. HTTP means something like a website hosting. All the objects are stored in the buckets. A bucket is simply as a container for the objects. It is used to portion the namespace of the objects at the highest level. Buckets are similar to internet domain names. They are accessed via bucketname.s3.amazon.com. It will see via bucketname.s3.amazon.com. Each developer account has a limit of 1000 buckets. A key is the unique identifier an object within the bucket. A bucket and key together uniquely identify each object in the S3. Every object can be addressed through the bucket and key combination. For example, if your bucket name is my bucket and the key is my home page.html, the URL for the object will be mybucket.s3.amazon.com my home page.html. Advantage of S3: scalability, the amount of storage, bandwidth you need to scale as you like without any configuration changes needed. Availability, speed, throughput, capacity, and robustness is not affected even if you gain 1000 users over the night. Unlimited storage, you pay as you go. Inexpensive and no capital outlet. Gray of the startups. Grades of the startup. Data is accessible from any location. Since it is based on the Amazon infrastructure, it is probably more reliable than other cheap data storage providers. Use cases: asset storage and CDN, data storage, static sites, backups, mobile storage backends, and file distribution. Pricing. Charges for using S3 is based on the allocation of your buckets. Your billed accounting according to storage, data transfer in and out, and the number of requests per month. So there is no minimum fee to use S3. You pay for only what you use. You can view your current charges required almost immediately on the S3 portal. What is S3 bucket? A S3 bucket is a basic storage unit in the Amazon S3. It is a single level container, no hierarchy supported, and it's based on key object association. Subfolders are supported through specific content type headers and the substring mechanism. Upload and download are easy. So renaming of the folder, navigation of the complex hierarchy can be problematic. So bucket is a collection of objects globally in QID. So A to Z, so everything. So maximum 100 buckets per user, no limit on number of objects. So buckets is equivalent of the directories. Bucket is equivalent to of the directories. Single common namespace across the S3, but bucket names can include slash buckets present, something like it. Hurry backups and presentations. Objects equivalents of the files up to 5 GB in the size identified by the K. Best practice on the naming. DNS compatible, FQDN, fully qualified domain allows for the vhost or ohost out for the SSL. Objects blob don't care about the file formats. Metadata can be added. Maximum 5 TB object. How to access the AWS storage service? Accessible using the simple HTTP URL http s3.amazon.com bucket key bucket.amazon.com key bucket. Use Amazon AWS Management Console. Use CloudBerry Explorer. S3 allows you to specify an access control list for every object in the database. You can set permissions for the owner and for the authenticated user, for the specified users, and for everybody. Even possible to create a public URLs that expires at even day. So something like it maintains the versions of the object stored in the S3 and recover in the case of data loss. These are the options. Ranges of classes. Standard plus ranges of classes. Storage ranges. S3 standard class for frequently accessed data. So we can also set up auto policy to migrate data from one class to the another class, like standard to glacier, standard infrequent access, glacier. Security in S3. Access control list, bucket policy, e-authentication. S3 also offer SSL encryption for data uploading and downloading. Sign up, you also know sign up. How to create a bucket. So create how to you can create the bucket. Then region, you can select that region. So objects, it is something like objects. You need to copy the object. Now how to access the object through a URL or something like. I will show you tomorrow, guys. Okay. So what you need to do is the task is something like through Terraform you can create the S3 bucket. Guys. How you can register that terraform.io. In the same file, in the same stack, you can create another file, s3.tf file, and you can launch that files. Browse products, AWS, documentation. Go to S3. S3 simple storage service. AWS S3 bucket. This is the resource name. AWS underscore S3 bucket. You can give whatever you want. Example. So this is the bucket name. Bucket equal to something like my TF test bucket. So this is the bucket name, guys. You can use tags or not. You can use or not. We don't need. So these two. Definitely we need these two resource and bucket. Then you can create, guys. You can try to create S3 bucket and you can check it in the AWS console if bucket is created or not. Okay, go to the service S3. Yeah, same like as you can search it in the S3 bucket. Then you can click on the S3. Then you can check if bucket is created or not.